Hello and welcome to a courtside tennis review of the Yonex Percept 100D. The Percept line is here to replace the V-Core Pro, and I would say across the board the Percept line is a little bit more firm than the V-Core Pro line, which for me is just what that V-Core Pro line needed, was just a little bit more firmness. I felt like those V-Core Pros were a little bit too on the soft, pillowy, mushy side, to the point that it was a common complaint to see those rackets just swallowing too much power. In a way, they were kind of the ultimate control rackets and super buttery soft. But it was a bit of a struggle to put away those balls with your full power. And I think the new Percept line gives you a little bit more access to that while still maintaining a very comfortable and controlled feel. So I'm very happy with the updates I've seen from the Percept line so far. However, the Percept 100D is a totally new racket. It's an 18x19 string pattern, which has not been seen on the V-Core Pros. And just to use it as a popular reference point, the 97 is definitely softer. This racket has a thicker beam, a denser string pattern, but also a bigger head, and surprisingly quite a bit more firm. When I initially tried this racket, I was somehow expecting it to be pretty spin heavy, but I was actually surprised to find that this racket has a very low launch angle. And it turns out that this racket actually specializes in a laser-like shot, which is very cool. It's not necessarily my play style, but it is very cool to see those balls just laser over the net, which is a cool play style. It doesn't give you a whole lot of net clearance, but the way that your balls bounce on the other side of the court doesn't give your opponent a whole lot of time to respond. Sometimes a downside of being a really heavy topspin player such as myself is that some balls bounce high enough for the opponent to have a lot more options than they would on the type of bounce you would get from the Percept 100D. So that's cool. Definitely appreciated that about the racket. This racket also has slightly smaller grommet holes than the other rackets in the Percept lineup, which again to me is another implication of this racket being more so in the control direction, which might seem a little counterintuitive with the fact that it has a thicker beam. But the thicker beam is more of a feel thing and a directional control thing. This racket feels quite solid. In some ways it's very point and shoot. A really solid striking racket that will go and fire that ball in a laser exactly where you point it. It was a surprising racket for me. In my opinion, it feels nothing like a V-Core Pro. And I'm not necessarily saying it is because now it's in the Percept line, but as I said earlier, and I think everybody understands, that the Percept line is coming in to replace the V-Core Pro. And in my opinion, the 100D really sets itself apart from the pack of other Percept rackets. But it is still very true to the nature and branding of control that you might associate with the Percept line. Very interesting racket. And if you guys are ever in the Sacramento area, you guys are welcome to come on by and grab a demo. Courtside Tennis has 2 locations in the Sacramento area with plenty of demos. Lots of rackets in stock, shoes, strings, even pickleball accommodations. On that note of strings actually, Courtside Tennis is now carrying Restring Zero, which you guys know I love. If you've seen my content. If you guys want to check out my content, you can check out my channel, Time for Tennis on YouTube and Instagram, where I post more racket reviews, string reviews, all kinds of things. So I will see you guys there on my channel or here at Courtside in a future video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye for now.